From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, September the 19th, 2022. Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid flew to the United States today. Lapid announced last night, "I will fly to New York to represent Israel at the United Nations General Assembly." He said, "I will hold a series of diplomatic meetings there with, among others, President of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Liz Truss." This year's GA is expected to be the largest in recent years, with 140 heads of state. It runs through Friday. Well, as we reported to you last month, Israel renewed ties with Turkey just a few weeks ago, and today named its new ambassador to Turkey, Irit Lilian. She is Israel's first ambassador in Turkey since ties were suspended in 2018. Lilian, according to the Times of Israel, played a key role in the reconciliation efforts between the countries. She has been serving as Israel's charge d'affaires in Ankara since February of last year. Well, among other speakers at the UNGA this week will be the president of Iran, Ibrahim Raisi. Raisi was featured in a 60 Minutes interview which aired last night with Leslie Stahl and caused outrage with his remarks about the Holocaust. Stahl asked the Iranian leader, "Do you believe the Holocaust happened, that 6 million Jews were slaughtered?" Raisi answered that historical events should be investigated by researchers and historians. He said there are some signs that it happened. If so, they should allow it to be investigated and researched. Well, in response, Israel's Prime Minister Lapid posted a series of images from the Holocaust with the simple words, "some signs." U.S. Ambassador to Monitor and Combat Anti-Semitism, Professor Deborah Lipstadt, wrote the Iranian President Raisi's call for research to determine whether the Holocaust happened is ludicrous and dangerous. She said his statement is a form of Holocaust denial and a form of anti-Semitism. Chief of General Staff of the IDF, Lieutenant General Aviv Kochavi, is in Poland for a 3-day official visit, and he spoke today on the grounds of Auschwitz. He said you don't need to be a historian or a researcher to understand the atrocities of the Holocaust. You need to be a human being. And Israel's President Isaac Herzog responded to Raisi as well, tweeting a photograph he said he keeps on his desk of Holocaust survivor Dora Dreiblatt Eisenberg's forearm, showing the prisoner identification number tattooed on her arm, which is being held by that of her great-granddaughter. Herzog wrote, "Mr. Raisi, on my desk in Jerusalem, there is one photograph. The numbers, referring to those on Dora's arm, speak for themselves." And staying with Herzog, the president was in the United Kingdom today. He wrote, "On behalf of the State of Israel, its citizens, and the Jewish people, I paid respects to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II at her lying in state." On the sidelines of the funeral for the Queen, Chile's Foreign Minister Antonia Urrejola approached Herzog about last week's diplomatic incident, where, as we reported to you, Israel's new ambassador to Chile, Gil Arzieli, was prevented from presenting his credentials to Chilean President Gabriel Boric, reportedly over the death of a young Palestinian man killed in clashes with Israeli troops in the West Bank the night before. Urrejola is said to have apologized to Herzog for the diplomatic incident, and Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs tweeted that Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs of Chile called Israel's Director General of the ministry Saturday night and apologized as well. Well, more attacks to report to you about targeting Orthodox Jews in New York. Yeshiva World News reported that this past Shabbat, Saturday, a woman allegedly harassed, cursed, and knocked off the strymel, the fur hat, of an Orthodox Jew walking to synagogue in Borough Park, Brooklyn. Borough Park Shomrim, a volunteer organization, responded and found the suspect, who was arrested by the New York Police Department. New York Governor Kathy Hochul addressed the incident, the latest in an uptick of such assaults. She thanked the NYPD and said acts of anti-Semitism are abhorrent and unacceptable. Hate crimes will not be tolerated in New York, and we've strengthened our laws to further hold perpetrators accountable. New York Mayor Eric Adams said these outrageous attacks on our Jewish community won't be tolerated, not in our city. I want to thank our NYPD officers for their quick response to these acts of anti-Semitic hatred. We will keep our streets safe. The American Jewish Committee wrote, "We are sickened by yet another unprovoked attack on an Orthodox Jewish man walking the streets of New York." The Anti-Defamation League's New York, New Jersey office said, sadly, this incident is one more in a long pattern that's been repeated over the past few years. We call on people of good faith everywhere to put an end to this unacceptable behavior. Well, yesterday marked 2 years, the second Yortzeit, since the passing of Jewish Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And we have some special programming for you tonight to mark the anniversary. Coming up at 7 o'clock, the late Justice speaks on her judicial philosophy and thoughts on some critical issues. And at 7:30, I sit with Moment Magazine's Nadine Epstein to discuss her new book, RBG's Brave and Brilliant Women, written in collaboration with Justice Ginsburg. In other programming tonight at 8, Abigail Pogrebin speaks with Rabbis Benjamin Spratt and Joshua Stanton, who take an unadorned look at the landscape of Jewish life in their new book, Awakenings, discussing what they see as the next chapter for Jewish legacy institutions and startups. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with 3 leading Jewish historians. At 10, Rabbi Harold Kushner speaks at the 92nd Street Y. And coming up next tonight, I speak with CEO and President of the Jewish Federations of North America, Eric Fingerhut, who shares the emotional experience of accompanying 209 new Ethiopian Jewish immigrants to Israel this past Wednesday. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, September the 19th, 2022. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.